Twitch's biggest con artist was exposed, and I'm here for the forensic analysis. Look, the crime has already been committed. It's already been confessed to, so we're not here for any of that. Instead, we're here to figure out how and why. I'm talking, of course, about Slicker. He's a famous live streamer who used his connections with fans and other live streamers to beg and borrow over $300,000 and never returned it. And so I was up all night talking to the victims of all of this, and their stories are wild. And I should start by saying, I don't mean Slicker is the biggest con artist in terms of money. Like, he didn't rob Fort Knox, he didn't steal a famous painting. I mean, he's the biggest in terms of the sheer number of victims who have come forward. I mean, this guy was working hard. Basically, if you had a Twitch account, this guy came to you for money. But there are several extra details you need to know as well. As I said, Slicker already confessed. I'm not prosecuting anything here. I'm not alleging anything here. He admitted to everything last night on a live stream after being exposed by several fans and streamers.
I'm not asking for forgiveness, but every single day I felt guilty. Every single day. I don't know what to say to the people I borrowed from. Every single day I was guilty in asking.
Honestly, I kind of respect that he doesn't try to dispute the facts here. He just kind of owns up to him and said, yeah, I did it. Yeah, it was bad. But then after that, I kind of get a problem with what he says when we talk about why he did it. Because Slicker says that he did all this because of a gambling addiction he suffers from.
I started to gamble with money, and this was even when I started having my first job. I used to gamble a lot of my money, basically all my Twitch money. And then even them times I wouldn't even have them. I'd come across streamers and ask them if I could borrow money. I don't know what to say, but this is the epitome of gambling. I want to say that don't touch it, man.
Now look, I do honestly believe Slicker has a gambling addiction. I just don't think it explains away everything in the way that he thinks it does. For example, a gambling addiction explains how Slicker lost his money, but it doesn't explain how he lost everyone else's money or got it in the first place. I mean, I feel like he's trying to explain everything with the story of like, I have a gambling problem. But when you dig into the story, you find that Slicker isn't just a gambling addict, he's also a professional con artist, which we're gonna see in a second. So while he does need help, he also needs to face consequences because he played an active role in all this. It's like meeting an alcoholic who you find out broke into your house and cracked your safe, and they get caught at the police station. You go up to them and you say, how did you open my safe? And they go, oh, sorry, I'm an alcoholic. You'd be like, yeah, but how'd you crack open my safe? And then imagine they go, oh, well, I just can't stop drinking. You'd be like, okay, I don't think Jack Daniels taught you these skills, right? So my point is, yes, Slicker clearly has an addiction, but he also appears to be a professional con man. And we're going to talk about that right now because I interviewed multiple victims and created a master list of the people who Slicker scammed because I needed to get like a bird's eye view of this thing. There are over 55 people on this list owed money right now, and the total scammed is over $384,000. And what did I learn from these 55 people? Well, there were a lot of different ways Slicker liked to approach people, but he really liked this bank scam method.
My bank account got locked, temporarily locked. Don't have access to my money, sadly, because the UK banks, but whatever. I was wondering if I asked if I could borrow money and I'd pay you back. Now, I'd even give you extra.
That's right, the old frozen bank trick. Basically, you'd go to people and say, hey, look, I can't access my funds. You have to give me money. I'll pay you back. I'll pay you back even more. And it's sort of incredible to watch because not only is all of this a lie, but he's just so good at acting ashamed. Like, if I saw this, I'd believe, oh man, he's petrified to ask me. But come to find out, he's been telling everyone the same sob story over and over again.
Hey, I just recently got into some thing with my bank. Basically, my bank account got locked. This has happened for like 3-4 days. Yo, Mo, I'm not hacked, my bro. I'm not.
So yeah, it turns out he wasn't ashamed at all. In fact, if you didn't believe him, he would even say other things like, on my mama, when they didn't believe him, or he would swear on his religion that he wasn't lying while lying.
Listen to me, Napoleon. I swear I'm a Muslim. I swear on the Quran, I ain't lying. I won't scam you. Napoleon, on my mom's life, on my mom's life, I'm not lying.
please, on my mum's life. I understand. I'm not lying. I am not lying. I'm confident I'm not lying. I promise to God, I'll have you month by month. You ask me, 15th of next month, here you go. 15th of month, here you go. On my mum's life. Do you think I'm joking, bro? On my mum's life, I'm not, bro. On my mum's life, I'm not.
I absolutely cannot stress enough just how many people he used these tactics on to try to convince them. And it's interesting how he refined it over time, right? This is my point about professional con man. He's like a stand-up comedian who tries his act in every city and hones it until he figures out exactly what to say to make the audience laugh, but he does it for scams. He knew the exact script to use. For example, this is the YouTuber Oompaville who gave him $1,000, but when he was asked for another 1,000, he refused. So he said, I got you on my mama. He refused again. So Slicker sent him a document from Bluestone Credit Management in order to show how much he was in trouble or whatever. He's basically saying oh, I'm in trouble with taxes. You got to help me out, man. I mean, it's genius because I'm pretty sure this document is real. He says, bro, legit tax killed the F out of me, which might be true. But come to find out, this was a document that he sent to several people. He recycled it over time, which I found out talking to another victim who hadn't realized this yet and found it out in a pretty amusing way.
Every single time I sent money, it was for some reason that made sense. I sent him that much amount of money because he got me in a call, right? I just got home from my gym session. He gets me in a call and he's like, yo, Waddles, he's breaking down. He's almost on the verge of tears. He's breaking down and he's like, okay, bro, you're not gonna believe this. I didn't pay tax last year and I'm owed 15.5K. And listen, he had the proof though. So this is the thing that doesn't make sense though, because I don't know if he was lying to me. He sent me a document. He sent me the document, nothing blurred out, nothing. It's on his lap. I've seen his room. I've watched his stream so many times, so I can tell you this is 100% legit. He's got his hairy ass arms in the picture. It says his name, all the info, and the amount owed. And it says that I have the proof. I think it's 15.3K to be exact. Sorry, 15.3K.
You know, I've already seen this screenshot, but not from you, from someone else who got the same letter. I swear to you.
Oh, no way.
I swear to you. He was sending it to everybody.
Bro, this is news to me, bro. I did not know this.
What I think is so crazy is that Slicker's scheme worked in part because of how many people he was simultaneously lying to behind the scenes. And even though his tactics were the same, the exact story would sometimes change based on the person, so that it just took so long for people to figure out, which was explained to me by yet another victim who found out because her roommate was hearing a different story than her. And it made her curious. Why was he getting asked for less money and with a different story than her?
He'd asked me for 5K in the video crying, swearing on the Quran, on his parents, where he'd pay me back. But then he's asked Mini Titan, who doesn't have as much money, for £300. Tailored it specifically to Mini, knowing he has less liquid income than me. And for Minnie, it wasn't this story of how he's in debt with bad men. It was that he had an electric bill he needed to pay and he was going to get cut off. He made different stories for different people depending on how much he thinks he could get out of them.
It's crazy to hear Slicker's scam exposed so well by someone who never intended to expose him at all. She thought she was his friend. Her name is Lupelli, and she was going through chemo when she was scammed by this guy. He did this to you while you were going through chemo?
Well, I was going through chemo, man.
He knew that while asking you for money?
Yes. So this is why I had no idea that I was being scammed, because first off, I met this person multiple times in person. He knew I have severe autoimmune diseases. While going through chemo, he calls me up and sorry, I'm shaking thinking about it. I thought this guy was my friend, and he calls me up saying that he's going to get shanked. He owes people money, and they're outside. If he doesn't pay them, then, they're going to break his legs. And I'm thinking, I got to help this guy. I was going through chemo. I didn't think I'm getting scammed by, my friend. He's in a hard time, I'm in a hard time, but I can help him. So I help him. promises to pay me back, and he just doesn't.
Guys, if you don't get it by now, this guy will do and say anything for money, okay? No bar is too low if you're going after people in chemo, which is the reason why this community needs to be very careful in trusting Slicker ever again, because right now he's out there making the apology tour, saying how he plans to pay everyone back. But how can you trust him? It's a question that even he's aware of.
I have to find a way to pay them back. But the funny thing is, how can you trust me? How can you trust someone? How can you trust someone like me?
What I do find interesting about all of this is it's just that listening to him, you can kind of see why his victims gave him money. Like, he is compelling. He does sound so sincere. But for many of these victims, it's interesting that they've heard all this before. This isn't new.
Like, he kept saying, no, you don't get it. I'm not lying to you, Lupelli. I'm not lying to you. Now I know he was. This is what's upset me the most, that he knew he wasn't going to pay back if I gave him the 10K. He knew he was lying about having a loan from the bank which will, pay back what I give him. He was just giving me bull.
There it is. That's my question to anyone who thinks Slicker is suddenly going to pay everyone back. If that was true, why wouldn't he do that in the years that he was borrowing from these people, promising then to pay them back, but knowing he was lying? And yes, I should say he did pay a few people back, okay? But most of those people, I have to say, he then asked for more money. And some of them, he even fake paid back.
He's sending money back. I was like, hello. He would be like, yeah, I can send it. And then he sent me 1.7K on PayPal, but he sent it as a transaction. And then 3 days later, it was canceled. So I never actually got any of that money back.
Truthfully, the most surprising thing about this whole scandal is just how well this is reflected on the rest of the Twitch community, while also reflecting so bad on Slicker. And for this part, I just want you to hear from one of Slicker's victims again.
He also showed me DMs between him and Ludwig, him and Trainwrecks, him and such and such streamer of him DMing them and then asking for money and then them not sending money back. But the worst part of it, of all of that, is he's so shameless. He would talk them to me. He'd be like, bro, you don't understand, streamers don't they're so money hungry. They don't want to. So ironic now looking at it. But he'd be like, streamers are so money hungry. They don't want to help anyone out. Blah 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 blah. And now after everything's come out, all these streamers sent him so much money. I cannot believe he said that. I cannot believe he came to my DMs and told me, yeah, all these streamers are just, all they care about is money.
They're the ones who paid him all the money.
I don't care. I don't understand. Yeah.
It would have been better if they were greedy. Honestly, the biggest lesson from this is that Slicker's terrible, but then a lot of streamers are actually good people. They really want to help people out. It's like the takeaway is not that streamers are really not generous. It's if anything, it's the opposite. It's they're too generous. Yeah. That's right. If anything, Twitch streamers just come off looking almost naively generous. And while I say that, I actually have good news, because after this call that you just heard, I got a great update that I want to share with you. Two of the biggest streamers, XQC and Ludwig, both just pledged to actually clean up Slicker's mess and refund all the people affected by this scam, which is amazing and proves my point once again. And while they're still working on it, I can confirm that Lupelli, the woman we just heard from earlier, has actually already gotten her money back. So absolute credit where credit is due, guys. That's an amazing thing. Another interesting development from this is that many people have used this as an opportunity to call for the banning of Twitch gambling streams, which I absolutely agree with, especially sponsored gambling streams. I mean, do I think Twitch will actually do something from mounting support and most people being against it? No, because they make too many views and money. But do I think they should do it? Absolutely. It's a plague on the platform for everyone who isn't the streamers who are sponsored and making millions of dollars, right? So yeah, that's basically where this story stands. Make sure to give some love to all the people who share their story, pump the stock, send some money to my frozen bank, and I'll see you in the next one.